So you really want to know about this rare magical item, huh? Let's call it a trial, perhaps. Should you pull off this meeting, make this trade for me, then maybe we'll talk about this magical item. How well versed are you at dancing?
Okay, you have been to plenty of these events before. You know that weapons are not allowed inside. I don't care how good it looks with your outfit. You're not taking that giant sword into the masquerade. Well, you can come get it from here when you leave tonight. Or wait, tomorrow morning. You're one of those that likes to stay all night, aren't you? Great. Yeah, I'm sure I will be hearing from you later. Gosh, I hate nobles. Like, it's bad enough I have to be here all night and draw the short end of the stick. Wear this itchy mask. I'm not even allowed inside. Whatever. Huh? Oh! Hello. I'm so sorry. I didn't hear you walking up. Pretty light on your feet, aren't you? How much of that did you hear? I'm really sorry. I don't mean all nobles. In fact, I don't mean hate really at all. Hate is such a strong, ugly word. It was just said in haste. It's just when you're a guard at an event like this, there are some people who just think that the rules don't apply to them, and when you're the person who has to enforce the rules, it can make for a long night. I apologize. I didn't mean to offend your grace at all. Thank you. I appreciate you for understanding. Anyway, welcome to the Masquerade, the social event of the season. Can I see your invitation, please? You don't have an invitation. Oh, well maybe you're on my list of, kind of last minute additions. Let's see. What's your name? Talari. Interesting. Talari what? Oh, Talari of Baywith. You're the ambassador, aren't you? Yes, the unexpected visitor from the wilds who showed up just in time for the social event of the season. Lucky you. Well, yes, of course. Your grace, your eminence. What am I supposed to call you? Your grace. All right, that will work just fine. Welcome to the city of Eifendel, and to the Masquerade. Now, I know this is a bit of a hassle, but I am supposed to ask, since you don't have an invitation, do you have proof of lineage by chance? I can't just be letting anybody in just because they claim to be somebody important. I know, it's kind of a hassle. Oh, good. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for understanding. I'm sure that everything's in order, but I'll just take a quick look. Okay. Ooh, very official looking. Herein specifies the noble genealogy of the great Talari, child of Lord Shaka, okay, son of Sharay, son of Ulamak, okay, of the great house of Unagi, of the great house of Unagi. Okay, great. Well, yeah, this looks great. Wonderful. Let me just wrap this up for you again. I can give that back to you. Would you like to hold on to it, or would you like me to hold on to it up here, just so you're not, having to stick things into your outfit or whatever? Okay, no problem. I'll leave it up here for you. Did you have any questions at all about the evening? I mean, it's really just a big party for all of the nobles. And of course, since you're from out of town, no one would expect you to know all of the little customs, whatever. And honestly, it would take a long time for me to just sit here and explain everything to you. Okay, I'm sure you're a fast learner. You'll catch on. There is one more thing. I'm sorry, I know this is a little uncomfortable, but I do need to just search you for weapons really quickly, okay? Yeah. It's just, just a precaution, making sure that no one is coming into the masquerade with ill intentions. I mean, I don't see a giant sword that you're trying to bring in, but just, to make sure. Is that okay? Okay, great. I'm just going to, just loosely. Don't worry, I'll make this quick. Just want to make sure I don't. Okay, side, yeah. No, I think that should be fine. Thank you for complying. There are some nobles who are a little bit difficult with that too, but I appreciate you being very civil. Not like a noble of Hyfendel at all, actually. It's kind of a nice change of pace. Anyway, allow me to officially then welcome you to the city of Hyfendel and to the Masquerade. Enjoy your evening. So many people here already. It's going to be awful trying to avoid everyone. Oh well, hopefully this will help, at least a bit. Not wearing any sort of rings or anything, so hopefully. Oh, hello. I'm so sorry, I didn't hear you walk up. I don't normally stand in corners and talk to myself, I promise. Just at large social events like this one. They're not my favourite, I have to admit. Not that it can't be interesting watching people flitting about. Especially on evenings like tonight, where we're all supposed to be a bit disguised. Although, it's not like we don't actually recognise each other. Most of the nobles, and at least the members of the court, we've all known each other for ages and ages, so it's not like putting a mask on your face is really going to work that well. Not if you get up close to someone. You can usually still tell who it is. Just a bit of fun. Although I must say, thank you for not bowing. I appreciate it. On nights like tonight, we're not supposed to treat people differently because of our titles, but most people still do, so I appreciate you not bowing. What do you mean, what? You actually don't recognize me, do you? Ah. Well, I guess that's not all that surprising. I don't recognize you either. It's not every day you see a new face in the court. Wait a moment. You must be that emissary, right? From Bayworth? Oh, interesting. Yes, you caused quite a stir in court today, seeing as you just blew right into town and we didn't even get to meet you before tonight. My father was a bit nervous that him not having greeted you properly would be, seen as an impertinence. But I assured him that things are just done a bit differently in Bayworth, and perhaps you wanted to get to know people at your own pace at an event like tonight. I can't blame you. Court can be a bit intimidating some days. Anyway, allow me to welcome you. not just to the Masquerade then, but also to the city of Ifendale. I hope you found it pleasing thus far. Wonderful, wonderful. What's your name exactly? Talari. That's a lovely name. Wait. Is that your actual name, or is that your name of the night? Oh, no one told you. No. You see, it's not just a masquerade like we all come dressed in masks and not on normal clothing. You're also supposed to pick a fake name for the evening. It just sort of helps to sell the whole idea of mystery, right? It wouldn't do much if I wore a mask but I still introduced you with my real name. So tonight, you may call me Chrysanthemum. You'll hear an entire range of probably rather silly names today. Not all of them silly, though. So, your real name is Talari. Would you like to pick something slightly similar to that, or completely different? Slightly similar, okay. We don't want it to be too similar, do we? How about Tema? Does that suit you? Good. That's short and sweet. Hopefully you'll be able to remember it as you're introducing yourself to lots and lots of fine nobles who I'm sure would love to meet you. But yeah, that should work nicely. Well, you've got your very nice Baywethian robes. You've got a lovely mask for the evening, and now you have your name of the night. I think that means you're all ready to enjoy one of Ifendale's biggest social events of the season. Oh wait, there is one more thing you're missing. Server? Yes. Hello. Thank you very much.
Yes, of course.
Some wine. It's not really a soiree until there's far too much wine being poured, right? Well, there you are. Now, I believe you are ready. Welcome to Ifendale, and welcome to the Masquerade. Hello, Your Grace. Would you like another beverage? Of course. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, hey, was that the princess you were just talking to? Yeah, the princess, Princess Cressia. I'm pretty sure that was her. She usually is very hard to find at events like this. She likes to hide away. Something about all the attention, she doesn't like it. I don't know why anyone would not like all that attention. Oh well. I guess that's her prerogative, being a princess and all of us lowly folk. Well, not lowly like the actual lowly folk, but all of us nobles' daughters, we have to take the attention that we can get, don't we? Oh well. Would you like to play a game? Oh no, come on, let's. It will be quite fun, I promise. It's quite simple. You see, I just got these cards. They were a gift from my daddy. They are apparently from a town that doesn't exist anymore, called Bright Horses? That doesn't sound right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't exist anymore anyway. But these are what they call oracle cards. Apparently they are actually a bit magical in nature. See, things like this are usually outlawed. But I think because these came from ruins, people figured that they probably were not all that powerful. Because oracle cards can help you tell the future. So if someone had these oracle cards and they didn't know that their whole town was about to be destroyed, then their oracle cards are not very good, are they?
Anyway, it's all quite fun though. So, here's how you play. All of them have different flowers or plants on them. You see, like this one right here. Not that one. That one's boring. Here, like this one. See, so it's got the name of a different flower down there, and then it's got sort of something that it symbolises. Yeah, it's like a virtue, or sometimes they're bad, or sometimes it's the answer is yes. So you're supposed to think about a question or somewhere where you would like guidance in your life, something like that. And then I will shuffle the deck, and you tell me when to stop, and then you will cut the deck, and we'll see what card you get. Okay? It's quite simple. Really, it's quite fun. I haven't had any bad cards yet. Okay. No. Let's play. What is a night like this if you're not supposed to try new things and have some fun? Good choice. Okay. So I'm just going to shuffle these for a bit. You tell me when to stop, okay? There we are. Stop. Okay. Now, why don't you cut the deck, okay? Right there. Alright. Let's see what your card is, shall we? I bet it's a good one. Ooh, it's the foxglove flower. Quite pretty. It's a lovely flower. And this card means deceit. Look at that. Never had any bad cards before. That's quite a bad one. Deceit. Really? So maybe someone's going to try to lie to you? Or maybe you're going to lie to somebody. You haven't lied to anyone recently, have you? No, of course not. I'm sure not. I'm sure not. It's just for fun anyway. Well, that wasn't a very fun card though, was it? You know, let's do it again. Let's do it again, you ready? Okay? We'll put that one in there. And I'll just shuffle them again. And we'll try again, okay? Go, just mixing them up. You tell me when to stop. Stop. Okay. Now, you go ahead and pick where to cut the deck again. Right there? Okay. Alright. I'm sure that this will be a good card. I'm sure this one will be good. Let's see. Ooh, Love in a Mist. That's quite a lovely card. Quite a lovely flower. This one symbolises confusion. Well, I suppose that's right on the money because I'm quite confused. I've never seen any negative cards and now you've got two in a row. So maybe that means you're going to be confused about something. I guess. I don't know. That's not a very fun card either, isn't it? Oh, no. Third time's the charm. I'll try one more time, okay? I'm sure this one will be good. I'm sure that this one will be the perfect card. Those first two were just practice. Okay? Here we are. You tell me when to stop, shall There? Okay. Put all the cards together. Now you cut the deck again. Blow on it for good luck first. There you are. Right there? Okay. Put that back together. Now this card. This is your actual card. The first two, like I said, were just warm up. This will be your card. I'm sure it will be good. Ooh, oleander. I love that flower. This one symbolises... You know what? It doesn't matter. It's really just a funny game. I'm sure it is. Well, this card, the oleander flower, apparently it symbolises danger. You got 3 bad cards in a row. That's awful luck. Danger. So maybe you're going into a situation that's dangerous. Or maybe you're already dangerous. Or maybe you're in danger or something. Are you a danger to other people?
No, of course not. I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're not at all. You seem like a quite nice person. Your outfit is quite unusual. Yes, it's very distinctive style. Were you going for something a bit more exotic this time around? Oh, you're from Bayworth. Well, that is quite exotic, isn't it? Interesting. But it fits you beautifully. You must have had it custom made. Of course. That's not something you can just walk into any old shop and pick up off the shelf. It looks absolutely exquisite on you. I'm sure that these cards they're just for fun anyway. Like I said, obviously if the town of Bright Horses was completely destroyed, then the oracle cards were not very good, were they? Exactly. I'm sure you're not in any danger, and you're not deceitful, and you're not confused. At all. No, not at all. Maybe because, oh, I know what's going on. We're at a masquerade, right? Where we're pretending to be people that we're not. So really, maybe the cards are giving you the opposite thing. That's it. I'm sure that's it. That's got to be what it is. Anyway, thanks for playing my game with me. Have a nice night. I hope that you don't run into any danger. I'm sure you won't. Bye. May I offer you another beverage now, Your Grace? Of course. Is this what passes for science in this kingdom? Oh. I thought for a kingdom that banned magic, at least, perhaps the sciences and the mathematics would be more advanced. Well, sure there are other redeeming qualities. Oh, greetings. I do apologize. I was just doing a bit of reading. See, these big social events, they tend to make me a bit uncomfortable. In this country, at least. I tend to stand out a bit. How rude of me. I am Kala. I am a dragonian. That is with the ears and the horns and all of that. That does not make me look like a human, like you. I am an ambassador from the Empire of Kanjakar, here on special request from the Empress herself to attempt to build some relations between the great kingdom of Maladia and the recovering empire of Kanjakar. Now you do not seem to be all that taken aback by my appearance. Have you seen a dragonian before, perhaps? Oh, really? Where would that be? Ah, yes, the emissary to the dwarves. Yes, that was quite a successful trip for her. That was very good. So you make your way around as well? Now you clearly are not from this kingdom either. With your dress here, you look more like someone from the wilds. Is that correct? I thought so. This color and the draping, it looks very much like some of the styles that I have seen in the city of Bayworth. Is that where you are from? I thought as much. Well, welcome then to the kingdom of Maladia. I hope that our guests have been treating you well so far. That is good to hear. They are sometimes a bit afraid of things that are new. But hopefully with the next generation of rulers coming up, we can bridge the gap a bit. Now, where in Bayworth did you say you were from? I am perhaps not very accustomed to this kingdom in particular, but I have visited Baywith more than a few times. You know, I have some relations there. Distant relations, but we keep in touch. How is the city doing, by the way? Has it recovered from that terrible famine from 2 years ago? Oh, I apologize. I did not realize that it had been so long since you had been home. Well, I'm sure that it is nothing to worry about. The High Priestess of Baywith is one of grace and wisdom. I am sure that in her infinite power and grace that she was able to guide the city in a way that saved many, many lives. I must say, I like the design of your mask. It is quite unique. Oh, this one. Yes, this is something customary for my people. You see, up until just a few years ago, the kingdom, the empire of Kanjakar, was one rife with war. We used to wear motifs like this into war, partially as defense, but also partially to intimidate our opponents. So, when I heard that this evening we were supposed to wear a mask, I put on the one that I had. I did not realize that here in Ifendel, a mask is something more of beauty than of fear. Oh well, lesson learned, I suppose.
Would you like another beverage?
Oh, no, thank you. I do believe that I have had enough. Yes, thank you. The wine of this country is absolutely terrible, would you not agree? It is incredibly weak and bitter. They have not learned how to really produce a wine with finesse and the body of the drink that we have in Kanjakar. Someday, have you ever come to Kanjakar before? Well, hopefully your time as an emissary will grant you a trip to my beautiful country. It is not rife with war anymore. It is becoming a very lovely place to visit, and you must sample the local wines where you go. They are a sense of pride among the Kanjakari people. Yes, especially the rice wine. It sounds a bit strange, and if it's not made correctly, it can be quite bitter or too sweet. It's a delicate balance between the flavors, but those who have perfected it have really perfected it. You must sample the wine when you come to my country, yes? Good. Well, I should not take up too much of your time. I'm sure there are plenty people who would like to meet the lovely emissary from Baywith today. Well, it was very nice to meet your acquaintance. Perhaps I will see you at court later. All right, well, enjoy the rest of your evening. Well met. Are you, quite sure that I can't interest you in another glass of wine, Your Grace? Of course. There you are. The chandeliers are quite lovely, aren't they? Although, personally, I think they would look a bit better if they were made of rubies. Got on at last, didn't you? I'm sorry, that was a bit of a nasty trick, wasn't it? You were here expecting to meet a noble, and here I was as one of the help. I hope Zenith warned you that I am a bit of an unusual noble. Alright, well, at least you had some warning. Why don't you say that you and I move somewhere a bit more private so we can discuss our matters, shall we? Wonderful. Come along. Oh, there we are. Finally take this thing off now too. Well, it's much more peaceful back here, isn't it? Far away from all the music, all of the dancing about on the dance floor, and also dancing about each other that all of these nobles like to do. Quite frivolous, if you ask me. You know, sometimes it's fun to go into a room full of nobles and have them not recognize you. Not like the Masquerade sort of not recognize you, where we're really all just pretending, but to go disguised as something as simple as a servant. They can look right at you and look right past you and not realize that you are who you are. It's incredible how easily these people ignore servants. Ignore really anyone who isn't them. But it's also quite fascinating how much they're willing to say in the presence of a servant, because they just don't think of them as important. I've learnt many a secret hiding away as a servant in a line of other servants that I probably shouldn't know. But my contacts outside of the court would say that that's quite a good thing. Speaking of, how exactly did you become acquainted with Zenith? I heard that it was a bit last minute. You see, I was supposed to meet someone else here, but he was not allowed to come. You just met her, and she sent you on this rendezvous with me. Really? Well then, part of me is glad that I decided to dress as a servant first. You see, Zenith vouching for you is something, but I do like to be a judge of character on my own as well. Anyway, well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that we can still make the drop, and hopefully everything will go off without a hitch. Now, I do have to ask, are you actually from Baywith? I didn't think so. You don't look very Baywithian. Although Baywith is a city of great diversity, so you certainly could be. But you don't carry yourself like a Baywithian. They're very graceful, generally. And you do have a certain grace about you, but it's different somehow. Can't put my finger on it. Anyway, I must say, the court was a little taken aback hearing that there was an ambassador from Baywith who just stole into town and did not appear at the court first. Zenith didn't think of that, did she? Oh well. The king in particular was a bit nervous that not greeting you personally would be seen as an impertinence. You see, he, unlike some of the younger royals, he does still care a bit about outer relations with the rest of the world. But I think that his daughter was able to sway him, ease his mind a bit, that customs are just a bit different in Baywith, and so she was sure it was fine. Now that is a royal that actually has, quite a good head on her shoulders. If she was allowed to rule someday, I don't think we would be in nearly as much trouble. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in, is it? Us poor females are not allowed to do anything that actually requires power. Oh well. All that really means is that we have learned how to work our power beneath the surface. is. Anyway, speaking of, would you like to see the chest for Zenith? Yes, yes. Now, it is enchanted, I must warn you, so if I were you, I would not try to open it, alright? It can only be opened by Zenith. Well, not just by Zenith. It can only be opened by a gnome. Seeing as you are not a gnome, I don't think that you should try. Did she tell you what the item was? Really? Interesting. I think I will leave that up to Zenith. If she would like you to know what's in here or not. Perhaps when you bring it to her tomorrow. If you ask very nicely, she'll open it in front of you. I really hope that it is what I think it is. I'll just say that. Now, I do believe that there was mention of gold for the item. Wonderful, wonderful, thank you. Personally, I'm not really in a place where I need gold, but I have a contact in Peddler's Alley who helps people in need under the new regime, and she says every moon there are more and more people who need her help, so this will be going to a good place, I assure you. Anyway, here you are. Here is the chest for Zenith. You can let her know that you have officially held up your end of the bargain. Now, are you getting paid for this? Or is there some other sort of alternative revenue stream? Any sort of benefit that you're getting? Information can be a very, very valuable thing. Sometimes much more valuable than gold. I should know, as a noble. Well, can't always help what we're born into. Actually, we definitely can't help what we're born into. But we can help what we do with the position that we're given. Well, I hope that that item is pleasing to Zenith. And I assure you that this is going into very good and very capable hands, right? Alright. Well, I actually might attempt to sneak out of the back of this big masquerade. Would you like to stick around and meet some more people? Or would you care to join me? Wonderful. There does happen to be a corridor off this way that I happen to know is not guarded. You see, it was guarded earlier, but thankfully that guard is incredibly lonely. And when a kind little servant girl kept coming up to him, offering him more wine, he didn't say no. And I'm afraid that he is taken quite sleepy. So, I think that we should be able to sneak out the back. No problem. Shall we? Good, good. Well, I hope it wasn't too taxing for you to be here. And I hope whatever Zenith has to offer you is everything that you need it to be. Well, until the next time that you're at some big fancy soiree like this, I hope you enjoyed your first masquerade.